Hi Internet, welcome to the Troyan YouTube channel here with another rock reaction. This is per Patreon request, so if you sign up for my Patreon and are at the $10 level, you are guaranteed one reaction per month of your choice. So it can be a song I've heard before, you just want to hear my take on it. It can be a song I haven't heard before. And if it doesn't get blocked by YouTube, then it will go up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to spread your music to the world, spread your taste to the world, then, the $10 level is great. So one per month. So this is Woody's pick for this month, and this is Sevendust, Angel's Son. So I don't listen to this band at all. I don't really know the band's sound. I know them sort of more through reputation than really anything substantive about the band. So in my mind, Sevendust is kind of like late 90s, early 2000s, alternative rock band. So I imagine them, in my head, based upon reputation, being kind of similar to like Nickelback and Breaking Benjamin, Fuel, like in that kind of mold of a band. Based upon like the kind of bills I've seen them on. And it's possible that I've heard some of their songs, but if you ask me to hum a tune by them or even name a tune by them, I wouldn't be able to. So very little familiarity with the band, just a general idea of what I think they sound like, but I could be completely wrong. And based upon Woody's comments, he doesn't seem like he's a huge fan of the band, but really wanted me to check out this song, which seems to be a ballad about a singer from a different band who passed away, and then just, sort of sorting out the feelings through that. I guess the singer of that other band, had drug addiction problems, but then died in a car wreck. And so I'm expecting this to be a heartfelt ballad, probably melodically strong if Woody chose it. And so I'm just, interested to see where it goes. I guess another band previously did, and then Sevendust redid the song. And I think there's some crossing over of band members based upon what I was reading. So haven't heard a second of the song yet. So I'm going to go in blind and let you know what I think of it as we play it. So yeah, Sevendust, Angel's Son. Yeah, so a lot of unexpected chord choices there. And I think that'd be the best way to describe it. Where I thought the chord progression was going, it wasn't going. And so that's something I found with a lot of these bands from this era, is that what would be intuitive to me as a songwriter isn't what these bands did. They would move to a chord where I'd be like, ooh, that's not the choice I would have made. And I think that a lot of people gravitate towards these kind of chord progressions. And I think the way I describe it is like when I first started playing guitar and I didn't know what I was doing, I would just sort of put chords in a random order, and that's how I would write. And it sounded more like these kind of bands. And then once I learned proper theory, I moved away from that. And but I think there's something to be said about just the natural instinct that a lot of people have to go in this direction. I think a lot of people who grew up in the era would just feel like this is the natural way to write. And sort of, I had to train myself to not do it because I grew up around this stuff. It felt like the natural way to write, but then I decided I didn't really like that and had to consciously learn how to avoid those trappings. But I would say it's definitely very interesting because it's sort of alternating between pretty, and then there's a dark sense of menace, and sort of going back and forth between the two of them, which I'm sure is to accentuate those bittersweet feelings. But yeah, I'm going to rewind it here so we can get that vocal transition and get back to it.
Life is changing, and I can't go on without you. Rearranging, and I will be strong. I'll stand by you. You are fighting every day. So why do hide the pain? I know you never said goodbye. I had so much not to say. One last song given to an angel's son. As soon as you were gone, as soon as you were gone.
Yeah, so we're about 2 minutes into the song thus far. I'd say the vocals are very strong. I'm not necessarily into the drum pattern that the drummer's playing. I think I think a lot of bands in this era were definitely lacking swing to their playing, which is something that really like gradually got phased out of rock music, which I think is something unfortunate that I would really love if it got brought back in. But that's just the dinosaur in me. Just people aren't into that kind of drumming nowadays. They want it to be more like mechanical and precise. Like that is what is appealing. But for me, it just I would prefer more swing. But the thing is, it's not necessarily bad. It's just like my taste. But I'd say what they're doing very well. And obviously, there's a lot of emotion and heart behind the song. So that's just like a nitpick. But I would say this is going very well so far.
Life now, she lives through you. What can I do? I feel so alone now. I pray for you. We still love you. You are fighting every day. So why do hide the pain?
All right, so that was Sevendust Angel's song, Angel's Son. Sorry. So yeah, that flew by in terms of it was just a very very brisk song, like sort of in and out. Where it felt like I should be listening to it longer, and it already ended. So it's the kind of song where I felt like you could have added another minute to it, and I might have enjoyed it even more. So like it definitely didn't wear out its welcome. It was just in and out. And so this one I have a little bit of mixed feelings on, where I think the melodies are strong, but I think that maybe it was the mix. And so, like, even though the vocals were good, it was a bit hard to, like, latch on to the hooks in terms of, like, being able to sing along to it on a first listen. And even though I read the lyrics beforehand, I wasn't looking at the lyrics as I was listening to it, and I couldn't like latch on to it strong enough to sing along to it, which is, I sort of have maybe it's a personal issue where I judge a song on like how quickly can the average listener sing along to it first listen. And that, that's a way that I often judge a song. It's like if someone can sing along to it first listen, sing that chorus, then I view that as strong songwriting. If they can't sing along to it first listen, then I don't view it as strong songwriting. But this one, I feel like the melody was definitely strong enough where I could latch onto it first listen, but I couldn't sing it first listen. And that's something I noticed with a lot of bands from this era, is that the lyrics tended to be a little bit more complicated. And so, like, you'd have to listen to the song, like, 7 or 8 times before you could, like, sing along to it at a live show. And so, like, I remember, like, friends would go see these bands, and they'd all be able to sing along to those songs, every word, and would be so into it. And so it's the kind of thing that benefits from repeated listens, but in terms of like the first time listen, it's not as strong of a earworm that makes you like sing it immediately first time. Like you listen to the Dio song Rainbow in the Dark, you're going to be singing along first time because that the hook is so strong. That's not necessarily the case with a lot of these bands, and so I think that's something that maybe led to the decline of rock, is that the hooks became maybe a little bit more complicated, and then the average listener like started to drift away from it because the hooks became too complicated, too intellectual for someone to be able to viscerally grab onto in first listen. But I think that's more of like a stylistic trend. I think, but as a whole, I think it's a well performed, well arranged song. Great melody, heartfelt lyrics, and you don't necessarily need your song where you're expressing grief to be that strong like pop single. You don't necessarily need that. You just need to have the true emotion in the piece. And I think this definitely succeeds with that. So if I were to grade this song, on a first listen, it's tough. I'm probably going to lean towards an A, in terms of the genre and what it's going for. In terms of my personal tastes, it's maybe like a B plus. I think the emotion of the piece and the strength of the melody and performances, made it a very pleasurable first listen. But I think the fact that I had the difficulty of really latching on to the hooks of the piece, despite strong melodies, makes me have mixed feelings on it from like that composition standpoint, and also just so some not being into the genre and not necessarily being into the drumming. But I think the melodies were strong. I think the heart was there, and it's really hard to knock something with this much heart. So I definitely would give this one a thumbs up. So good job, Sevendust. A great first impression. Let me know what you guys thought of this one in the comments below. And if you want to make sure that your song gets picked for next month, no matter what, sign up at the $10 level, and then you can back off the next month and not have to do it again. But if you're just like, I really want to make sure one of my songs get picked, sign up at the $10 level on the Patreon. Then just cancel it the next month, go to the $1 level, or go to, or just not do it at all. But that's just your way. It's just like instead of PayPal, you just do Patreon once. So feel free to do that if you're so inclined, or just keep pestering me in the comments below. Just remind me over and over again about what songs you want to play, you want me to react to, and then I'm more likely to do it. But yeah, so that's the video. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to do the liking, the commenting, the subscribing, all those things. And thank you, Woody, so much for supporting me on my Patreon and for this great pick. Have a good one, everyone.